All right, today we're going to tackle surface area, and specifically we are going to talk about surface area of cylinders. Now, on your formula sheet for the MCAs, they define surface area this way, as pH, P being the perimeter, H being height, plus 2 area of the bases. Now, what this really means is that if you have a prism like this, so let's say we have a box like this. This is a prism, rectangular prism. If you have this, then if we want to find the surface area, meaning the surface area is like wrapping a package. We're just going to do all of the exteriors and cover them like you were wrapping a gift. Then what you need to do is you have the sides, and all of the sides are going to be here, here, and the back, and then this other end. You take the perimeter of a base and then multiply by height. So that's where perimeter height is. So that's basically the sides. And then the two bases, well, that's your top and your bottom. Okay, top and bottom. And you get all of those areas calculated. You add them all together. There's your total surface area. So this is what I call wrapping the package. Okay. Now, we focus mostly in 7th grade on cylinders. So here's what it looks like for us. So here's your lovely cylinder. And when we peeled this apart, and if you recall, we made our little nets or our models of this yesterday, you had this big rectangular section because that's the side, and then you had a base of a circle and a bottom base of a circle. So here's where it comes from. The sides ends up being the dimensions or the area of the rectangle. We said this is the height, and then this top edge comes from going around the circle. It's like the label on a can of soup, let's say. And so really this becomes the circumference, or in other words, the diameter times pi, or pi times diameter. So we do pi d and the h, that gives us the side, so that's this first part, and then you have the top circle. This is your top base, which is pi r times r, or pi r squared, and this one is pi rr, or pi r squared, and that's why we have two of them, because you have a top and the bottom. So what we're going to focus on together are 6 problems from your notes page. So I want you to get this out. This is kind of that last page of that little packet on there. Okay, and again, the main formula for surface area says take the perimeter times the height plus 2 of the area of the bases. And what we're going to do is think about this always as circles. The perimeter is the circumference. That's pi times d. There's the h. Okay, this is the area of that wrapper or the label, and then you have 2 bases. This is the top and the bottom circles, pi r squared. Okay, so let's take a look at these. So here's the first one. Here's a cylinder. We need to know 3 things: the height, the diameter, and the radius. So when I look at this diagram, I'm going to say to myself, well, my height is 5. The radius given here is 2. From that, I can figure out that my diameter is 4. And now it really just becomes a big old computation thing, because you're going to take pi times the diameter of 4 times the height, which was 5, plus, and then we're going to take 2, because I have 2 circles, times pi times the radius, which was also 2, and you're going to square that. In other words, 2 times 2. Now, I'm going to recommend you plug in 3.14 for pi, so we all get the same answers. Okay, and pause the video. You go ahead and crank it out and see if you get what I get. Final answer is 87 and 92 hundredths square yards. Square yards because this is area. We're just wrapping the outside. Okay, look at number 2. Now if you have trouble like me, okay, and if you need to redraw this so that it's sitting on its base instead of sideways, go ahead and do that. The 2 here is actually your height. 8 is the diameter. So height is 2, diameter is 8, and that means my radius is 4. All right, so here we go. Surface area is going to be pi times the diameter, d. H is 2. That's this rectangular piece that's wrapping around the circle. Then we have our two bases, the top and the bottom circles, pi times radius squared, or radius times radius, 4 times 4. All right, plug that in your calculator, crank away, pause the video, and check and see if your answer matches mine. There you go. Move on to number 3. Thank goodness this one is facing or standing upright, so I can just peel off my dimensions. Height is 12. The diameter is 8, which means my radius is 4. My surface area formula says take the perimeter, which is pi times diameter, times the height. That gives me the sides. And then I have two bases, which are pi r squared. Here we go. Pi times the diameter times the height plus 2 times pi times the radius squared. All right, pause the video, plug it in your calculator, and see if you match what I get. There you go, 401 and 92 square inches. Moving on to number 4. Again, if you have trouble with this, you can always redraw it so you see how it's standing up properly on its base, because the 6 is actually your height. The 4 is the diameter. I'm sorry, 6, 6, 6. Radius then would be 2. Surface area is pi dh plus 2 pi r squared. So I'm going to take pi times 4 times 6 plus 2 times pi times the radius squared. Pause the video, grab your calculator, crank this out, and use 3.14 for pi. See if your answer matches mine. 148 square miles. I have no idea what kind of contraption is built like a huge tube that's 6 miles long and 4 miles high. 4 miles high? I have no idea. That can't be realistic. All right, next one. Okay, turn it if you need to, but the height is really 4. Diameter is 16. That makes your radius 8. Our surface area is pi diameter height plus 2 pi r squareds. So you will take pi times 16 times 4 plus 2 times pi times the radius, which is 8, squared. Grab your calculator, pause the video, see what you get. 602 and 88 square miles. Huge. Number 16, number 6. This is the last one that you have to do here with me. My height is 12. The diameter is 10, which makes my radius 5. Surface area means I have to take and find the rectangular area, so that's pi times diameter times height, plus the two circles, which is 2 times pi r squared. So here we go. Pi times 10 times 12 pi dh plus 2 times pi times the radius squared. All right, grab your calculator. Please substitute 3.14 for pi and compare what you get with my answer. Pause the video first. All right, 533 and 8/10 square inches. There you go. Hopefully you are some fine and fabulous surface area masters of cylinders now. Thanks for watching. Show me your worksheet when you've got these all done so you can demonstrate to me that you worked through all of these.